Hi, Tiana here from Mind Body Movement Center. I created a practice for another app, Fitstar Yoga, and I just wanted to share it here as a freebie so that you can join me. It's meant for holidays of kind of winding down and grounding practices. So I hope that you'll join me. You might want, I'm sitting on a cushion, my meditation cushion, but you could use a bolster. I have a couple blocks that you might want and a blanket perhaps for your knees. It just depends on where your setting is, if you have comfort under your knees. So, all right, with that, let us begin. So sitting in a comfortable position, it does not have to be cross-legged. You could be kneeling. You could be even starting sitting in a chair. All right. We'll start to let the shoulders drift away from the ears to rise from the shoulders, allowing the eyes to close or keep them open in a steady gaze, your choice. So begin to notice the ground coming up to support you, sensing all the connections that you're feeling at your legs, your hips, your sit bones. If you feel like one sit bone is getting a little bit more weight than the other, maybe just rocking a bit side to side or forward and back until you find that centered home space. Beginning to notice the sounds of the room. Perhaps the sound of your own breath or the absence of the sound. Bringing in awareness of the sensation of the air flowing in and out the tips of the nostrils. Perhaps noticing the temperature as it drifts to the back of your throat versus the temperature that's heading out towards your upper lip. Bringing in awareness of the movement of your breath without judging it to be right or wrong, but just noticing that curiosity, beginner's mind. And you might choose to bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart space or your chest space. And noticing as you breathe in, the belly gently rising into the lower hand. And as you breathe out, it's coming back towards your home, towards your center. Okay, we may one or two more breaths. See if you can extend your exhale just a little bit longer than your inhale. After your next exhale, just letting the hands rest down once more. All right. And before we head any farther, let's bring the palms together, pausing to create an intention for your day, or perhaps if you're doing this in the evening, an intention for tomorrow. So just how is it that you'd like to show up the rest of this day or into tomorrow? With that, we'll send that intention off and away, inhaling, reaching arms up, and exhaling, spanning out to cactus arms. Just moving to whatever your body feels comfortable in this moment, not forcing or striving. Last one. Good, we'll pause here, coming down, reaching up towards the sky, inhale, and exhale right down your center. Pausing here, clasping the hands, beginning a figure 8 or infinity sign. You might have done this a million times before, just having that curiosity, beginner's mind, that the amazement that we can make our bodies do these things. All right, pausing and begin to head the other direction. All right, we'll send the palms outward and upward as you're rising up. Send your lower ribs down to your seat. Relax your jaw. Take a breath in, press the skin of the palms up, and then exhale, pushing out as though your palms could press against the side walls. All right, come around, change the clasp of the hands, one finger over, outward and upward. As you're rising up, send your lower ribs down to your seat. Let go of your jaw. Take a breath in, press the skin of the palms up, and then pushing the air out and away. All right. I'm going to start with a side bend off to one side. So you're going to place your hand on the floor beside you. Ooh, that floor is cold. Or you can have a block on the side too, if that brings your hand up a little bit closer so you don't have to do quite big of a side bend. We're going to drop that inner elbow. The opposite hip stays grounded, reaching up and over. Maybe taking the gaze down towards the floor if that feels good for your neck. Take a breath in, reaching opposite direction from your other hip, and exhale, rising up slowly. We'll take it off to the other side. So either the block on the floor or your hand on the floor, doesn't really matter. Just make it feel comfortable. That elbow is going to drop in. We're going to ground the opposite hip down to rise up. Relax that ear out of the shoulder, maybe taking your gaze down towards the floor. Good. One more breath in as we reach in opposite directions, hip to hand. Exhale, rising up slowly. Okay. Take a breath in, and we're going to start to walk the hands forward. You can stop anywhere along the range. You might not make it elbows to floor, but that's okay. Maybe just hands, or you could even do hands to blocks or arms to blocks. And just inviting in a breath to your back side ribs as you inhale, spreading them to the outer walls. And exhaling fully. Great, beginning to walk back up on your next breath out. All right, we're gonna move onto hands and knees. So you might want a blanket here. I'm gonna be switching from forward to back just so you can get a good image of where we're supposed to be. And I am using my cheat sheet because I have not memorized this practice. But we are going to start in hands and knees. And sometimes I do a barrel roll. So if you imagine that you're inside of a barrel and you're going to set your body to one side of the barrel and then up towards the top of the barrel, over towards the other side of the barrel, and then down towards your lower part of the barrel. So it's kind of like a cat and cow. And we can do that traditional cat and cow in just a moment. And all I ask is that you're breathing. Good. As you reach the top of your space the next time, pause and begin to head the other direction. So maybe an inhale one direction and exhale the other. All right, and eventually coming back to center. So we did a little sort of side-to-side motion. We're going to do forwards and backs in our traditional cat and cow. So on the exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head, open up the shoulders. And opposite direction, drop the belly, untuck the tailbone, lift the head. Watch out for this locking back motion and just keep the neck long. So tuck in tailbone, exhale, and inhale. Maybe one more on your own rhythm. Great, coming back to center, we'll open up the knees wide and settle back into child's pose or puppy pose. This is when your hips are a little bit higher and maybe your head reaches the floor, maybe it doesn't. Some folks like to use a block to help catch the head. I'm going to invite you to breathe into that back side ribs. Slowly rising back up. All right, coming to sit again. I'm on the blankets, but you might need a little bit of extra boost. So I don't normally teach this one in class, but I am going to teach it here today. It is called knee pile. So knee pile on in sitting position. So you cross one leg over, cross the other one, under the other one over, so that you can sit tall. For some of you, you might need to be up on a block to get you a little bit higher. That's okay too. For some, it might not just feel good to have your knees like that at all. So you could do something like this where you're propped with a block and then doing a little crossover, something like that. So I'm going to get back to my knee pile without my supports. Good, so sitting tall first, grounding the sit bones down, lifting the crown of the head. Shoulders easing away from the ears. All right, if it feels okay, you can begin to walk forward. Now, walking forward might not be in your program today, so don't force it. You could even begin to spill over your front thigh if that feels nice for your body. Now, I trust that not everybody is going to be here, and that's okay. Just find a spot for you that feels nourishing. Okay, maybe one more breath, sending your belly towards your thighs. And exhale, begin to walk back up. Okay, we're going to ease out of that, so we'll uncross and recross. So again, use your supports. Every side might be a little bit different depending on your knee range of motion, your hip range of motion. So use your supports as needed. So we'll begin to sit tall here. I like to press my hands into the I call it the palm of the foot, the sole of the foot. So pressing that down, palm to palm of hands to feet, lengthening the spine, grounding the sit bones. Shoulders are easing out of the ears. Great, take a breath in, and if it's comfortable and nourishing, you can begin to fold forward. You can stop anywhere along the range. You could stop there. You could begin to go down and sink into your upper thigh, and perhaps let your head drop. Wherever you are in this pose, allowing the belly to freely expand on your inhalation. All right, after your next, or with your next exhale, begin to walk yourself back up. All right, we'll uncross and we'll come into hands and knees. So I am going to use a blanket for my knees just in case. We're going to start in hands and knees. Head back to maybe a half plank and then a full plank if that's okay with your body. Otherwise, just heading right into downward facing dog. So you may want to walk your dog here, bending and straightening, alternating one leg and then the other. Just kind of feeling out the kinks. This does not have to be your perfect dog. Great, and then we're going to roll right into plank pose. And if it feels okay on your body, lowering all the way down, just watch those shoulders. Coming to rest, and inhale up to cobra. And then an exhale, shifting back to downward dog. Now if coming into plank does not feel good, you can always put knees down and then lower down. But for now, take a deep breath in here. All right. Good, and then exhaling, slowly rising back up. I'm going to take the blanket away just so it's out of my way for the moment, because we're going to be moving through some poses here. Let me take a peek. I'll send this over here. All right. So coming in, maybe finding plank pose again, shifting to down dog. We're going to take your right leg up and back, and then shifting it all the way through, taking opening up. Didn't bring my blocks with me, but you could have your blocks here as a support to get you a little bit higher. Feel like base. To straighten the front leg, And again, the blocks can be really handy here to help guide you. You can have them on any level. In this position, the right hip is hugging slightly back, the left hip is hugging slightly forward. Relax the gaze down. You might also be higher. You may also be higher on your thigh, so please choose a spot that feels safe for your body. From here, we'll bend the front knee just a smidgle to rise up into standing scissor with hands on hips. Right, from there, we're going to turn the feet parallel on your mat. This is another spot where your blocks might come in handy. It's coming out to starfish. We'll take a rise up, inhale, palms lifting, exhale, palms down. Starfish. Yeah, starfish. Inhale, rising, exhale, down. For some reason that sounded wrong. All right, palms coming down, take an inhale, and then exhale, you're gonna slide your hands down your thighs until you come to either your blocks on any level. So blocks could be here, blocks could be here, here. Some of you might be at the floor. Heels can go out a little bit, toes can go in. You can spread your feet out a little bit wider here. Just know you have to come up sometimes, so don't go too far. And beginning to bring the head down. Now, if you have glaucoma or blood pressure fluctuating issues, please don't stay here too long. Just a couple breaths. So grounding the feet, grounding the torso towards the floor. All right. With your next exhale, slowly rising up. Coming back. Heel toe maybe a bit, hands to hips or thighs, exhale, rising up. Find starfish once again, breathing in. Good, breathing out, come back. We'll heel toe or step back into mountain pose. So feet are about hip width apart. Spreading out those toes wide, setting your pinky down and then the other toe towards middle. Great, finding our mountain. Thighs are strong to the outer walls. Great, take a breath in here, rising up, inhale. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Your blocks may come in handy here as well. So on any level, you could go to your thighs, your shins, the blocks, or the floor. Good, from here we're gonna shift right into downward facing dog. So walking hands forward, walking feet back, finding downward dog. We're gonna head into that little vinyasa or flow of poses. So coming out to plank pose or to hands and knees, lowering down, chaturanga, either on hands and knees or in plank. Inhale up to a mini cobra, and exhale, shifting back down dog. All right, I'm just gonna maneuver myself here as we did earlier. Good, so shifting now the left leg up and back. Reaching through that heel and then shifting it all the way forward into high lunge. Okay, you may want your blocks here. Opening up the shoulders, breathing into that lower belly space. Of course, we know you're breathing into the lungs, not your belly. It's just the belly that happens to be moving with your diaphragm. Right, from here, beginning to straighten the front leg and ground the back heel. So coming into standing scissor. In this position, your left hip is hugging forward, your right hip is hugging back. Again, you can be on your thigh, shin, blocks, or the floor. Don't compromise going lower just to be lower. It's not a competition. Good, one more breath in and out, grounding towards the earth. Bending that standing leg, or first, you're both standing, your front leg just a bit as you exhale, rising up slowly. And then you're gonna turn your feet to come back to parallel. I'm just gonna turn around so I'm not facing away from you. Coming back into starfish. So the heels are out a little bit, the toes are in. Rising up on an in-breath, lifting the heart space. Exhale, palms down. Two more. Next time the palms go down, we take an inhale and then exhale, begin to take the hands to the thighs. If you need your blocks here, you might need to take them with you. Allowing the trunk to head forward, the head to drop. If you're working with osteoporosis or osteopenia, just keeping a flatter back here and four-legged ghost rather than folding all the way down. Each exhale, a releasing, a letting go, getting closer to the earth. One more breath in and out. Beginning to slowly walk back up, maybe heel toe, heels and feet in a little bit until you can get hands on hips or thighs. Exhale, rising up slowly, finding starfish once again. Inhale and exhale, release. We'll take it now to standing scissor, hands on hips. Oops, sorry, back to mountain pose. Heel toe, coming into mountain pose. I think in my mind that's what I wanted to do, but it's not actually where we go. So mountain pose, spreading out the toes, setting the pinky down and dragging the other toes towards center. Thighs are pressing towards the outer walls, but the feet are grounded. Uplifting chest. One more breath. All right, take a breath in, reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, finding forward fold, Uttanasana. Again, you can use your blocks here if that is handy, or the floor, or your thighs. Knees can stay a little bit bent here. Back of the neck is relaxed. One more breath. Great. And we'll begin to either come down to hands and knees or find yourself into plank. Back to down dog. Great. We'll shift forward either onto hands and knees or into plank. Lowering down, chaturanga. Or ashtanga pranam if you're on hands and knees. Inhale, lengthening up, and exhale, finding downward dog. One breath here, and then lowering, opening up the knees wide, finding child's puppy dog or kneeling, whatever is most restful in this moment. One more full breath, let the belly spill into the thighs, exhaling, mouth open. All right. Bringing palms up or down, planting them, find plank pose, back to downward dog. We're gonna lift your right leg up and back, and then shift that leg all the way forward into pigeon. Now, pigeon isn't for everybody. For some, you might need a blanket up underneath your hip of your bent leg. The back leg is lengthened behind you. Just gonna come to the side for this demonstration. And you could stay there. You could begin to walk the body forward and making a little fist stack for your forehead. If this version of pigeon does not feel good on your body, please do it on your back in that figure 4 stretch or thread the needle. One more breath in and out. Beginning to walk yourself back up. We'll take a little turn over towards your front knee. So just a little bit of a twist here in pigeon pose. If you're on your back in figure 4, maybe doing a little twist of letting that leg drop off to the side. Good, one more breath and then exhaling, coming back to center. We'll find your way back into downward dog with a leg up. 3-legged dog. Back to down dog. Find your left leg up and back, shifting it all the way through to find pigeon pose. Now you might be on your back too, and that's okay. Just please find a practice that's nourishing for you. So sometimes having a little blanket up underneath that hip can be helpful. Walking your body forward, finding a little fist stack for your forehead or forehead to the floor. One more breath in and out. On your next exhale, slowly walking your hands back up. We're beginning to come out of the pose if you're on your back. Walking the hands over to one side. Just a little mini twist here. Good, coming back to center. Getting that leg out from underneath you, kicking it back up into three-legged dog. Come back to downward dog just for a breath. All right, and then coming to rest. Back down, find a seated position. So you can be on your blanket as a little bit of a boost, or your bolster. All right. So the legs are going to come out wide in a seated wide-legged straddle. Toes are going to be up in the sky. You can have a block in front of you or not. A bolster works too. And we begin to walk the body forward. Now what wants to happen is maybe the toes want to come with you, but you're going to resist and take the toes towards the back almost, which ends up being more straight up. So I can come to rest with hands or forearms on the floor or forearms on the block on any height. I'm going to go somewhere right in the middle. Up, maybe with the palms down, depending on where your arms are. Shoulders are out of the ears, and I'm sending my sit bones towards the back as I lengthen my torso over my hips. Steady breath here. Grounding towards the earth and surrendering forward. One more breath, lengthening up. And then exhale, begin to walk yourself back up. All right. We're going to take the right leg in. Oops. So hugging that foot in towards your groin or your pelvis. And sometimes a block can be nice if that hip just doesn't sit comfortably or it feels like it's just lifted too high. You should use something to help support it. I didn't prep you with a strap, and I knew in my mind I needed one. I just didn't think to say it in the beginning. But you're going to hook that ball of that foot with your strap. And then I'm going to hold on to it with my left hand. So I'm getting long, tall here. And then I'm going to pull the toe towards me as I start to drop my elbow onto that thigh. This arm's going to sweep up and over. So as I'm drawing the toes towards me, I'm lengthening, grounding down through the sit bones to get tall through. You can also have this hand just resting on your hip if that feels better, or out in any part of the range. Some of you might even be able to reach your big toe and then start to draw the rib cage up as you become over. I'm not going to stop you from doing that if you want to take that version. Great. Take an in-breath, reaching towards that opposite foot, and exhale to rise up. You're going to send that foot out into wide-legged straddle for one more version here. Taking an inhale, and then exhale, begin to walk forward. Again, you can be resting on your blocks, you could be resting on the floor. Feet are heading up, so look at my foot. Oh, it wants to go inward. I'm going to send it outward. We're going to work those outer hip muscles just as much as the inners. All right, one more breath in, and on your out, beginning to walk back up. All right, we'll take this foot in, the heel reaching somewhere towards the groin or your pelvic area. And again, using a block if needed. You're going to strap that foot or be ready to grab it with your hand. That leg heading out. We'll take an inhale to draw the toes towards us, and then exhale to start to plant that elbow. The torso opens in this motion, so you can even grab your rib cage and gently draw it over that way to rise up and over. So we might be able to get farther down if we bring the arm and close it down this way, but the intention here, just in this practice today, is to keep the space open. Again, you may be able to grab onto your big toe and draw yourself in that way. Some of you might be able to reach your toes. I used to be able to, but not today. The gaze could be up, it could be forward, or it could even be down. Okay, take one more breath in, reaching, and then exhale, release all the way up. All right, set that off to the side. We're going to come into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet coming together. And you can either be resting with the blocks here or here. I like this little version. It just creates a nice little soft space for your thighs to rest. Or you could just let it be. So I like to grab the soles of the feet and kind of draw the toe pads outward. So as you're rising up, jaw softening. You're welcome to stay here. If you'd like a little forward fold here, you're welcome to start to hinge forward. If you know your back is okay to round, you're welcome to even crawl down. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that. Crawl down to the floor, or using your block again as some support. But again, just choose the spot that feels nourishing for you today in this moment. Always knowing you can come out of any of the poses before I say. Taking one more breath in and out, rising up. Using hands on the outsides of the thighs, exhale, knees back to center. Coming in for a seated shin hug. So just wrapping your arms around, allowing your head to drop, shoulders can round. Yes, they can round sometimes. Take a deep breath into your back ribs. Exhale fully. All right, slowly rising up. You're going to find yourself all the way onto your back. So please get there safely. I'm going to put a little something under my head for support. I usually recommend just a log roll down. So just going onto your side and then rolling onto your back. It can be a really nice way to get down to ease your back and your neck. All right. From here, we'll head into a reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana, bound to angle pose. So soles of the feet are going to come towards one another, and then the legs just dropping out to the side. I am going to use blocks here today. So you can put blocks or some supports on your outer thighs if it feels uncomfortable for your low back or your groin. And then we'll place the right hand on the belly, much like we did in the very beginning. Left hand on the heart space, but the elbow should be resting on the floor or blankets, not lifted. So that we can notice as we breathe in, noticing the belly rising into the lower hand. And as we breathe out, it comes back to center, back to home, back to ground. The hand at the top is just a sense that that space is staying soft, gentle, not moving, not lifting, not doing, just being. Maybe one more breath here, in and out. All right, we'll begin to exhale those knees back up to center, bringing them in towards your chest and doing a little hug in, softening the low back, relaxing the jaw. right. We're going to go into a shoulder stand or a supported shoulder stand. I just like to take that out of that neck space, or what you can do if you like is to have, on the blanket and your head off the blanket. So I'll show the supported version. If you know you like to go into the regular version of shoulder stand, you're welcome to. So hips are gonna, or sacrum block is gonna be under the sacrum. If you don't have a block, just do the motion with your legs up in the sky with your hips on the ground. You don't have to. Or you can put them up on a blanket or a bolster. So we're gonna bring the knees up towards the sky. Let your sacrum just energetically drop to the block. You can stay there. That might be your inversion. If you like to, you can bring your legs up towards the sky. We can do an energetic kind of pressing with the shoulders and the arms down to the ground and reaching with the legs. And then we can just let go. And just like let your knees be soft, your hips be just like your hip sockets are just resting in their space. Like somebody's got you on puppet strings. You don't have to do anything. So you find that little sweet spot. Belly rising and falling. Let go of tension in the jaw, the eyes, the shoulders. If the legs get tired here, you can always just let the feet dangle, the knees stay lifted. If your legs are lifted still, bring them down with your knees or feet dangling, knees up, and then taking an exhale to take one leg down, and your next exhale to take the other leg down. Pausing there in supported bridge. And then we'll take the block out from underneath. You can come into knees to chest. Does not feel good on my back, so if you have the blanket there at your back, maybe just taking it out. All right. Okay, we'll do little swivels here. So opening up the knees out to the side, big circle, back together. Maybe an exhale as they come towards you and inhale as they go away. Or vice versa. All I ask is that you're breathing. Next time they come to your chest, pausing and begin to head the other direction, opening out. And I'm doing big circles, or I think they're big. Maybe they're not. You can do whatever range that feels good for you. Sometimes staying in small is good and nourishing. Small is not always bad. Big is not always good. All right, coming back to center, we'll take the feet to the outer sides of the mat. We're gonna head towards windshield wipers. So if you know that twisting or rotating, it doesn't feel good on your body, you could either set blocks there to kind of stop your range of motion, or just honor yourself and just stop when you need to. So I'm gonna take the legs off to the left. Let's see. Take my right arm, reach it up towards the sky, take my left hand to my side rib cage, and on the inhale I'm going to breathe into that lower hand. And so I can make that rib cage bigger. And then we'll exhale back to center, switch sides. So right legs, left arm, right hand to the left rib cage, big breath in. And then release. We'll go two more times to each side, your choice. Coming back to center, you can do a little knees to chest or maybe a little bow and arrow. Just anything your body feels like doing right now before we head into some relaxation. So I like bows and arrows, happy baby, legs up. You can use your straps for any of these too, or you could just do nothing. All right, so let's begin to head into some relaxation. You can have maybe something under your knees unless you just like your legs to lay out flat. Something under your head, unless you like your head to just lay out flat. So many options. You do want to be warm, so it's not cold like I am right now. All right. So legs just open, maybe palms up, maybe palms down, maybe palms on the belly, you choose. All right, I'm going to take you through a bit of guided relaxation as you're resting there, just a few moments, softening the thinking, planning, worrying muscles of the forehead. Letting that continue into the space between your eyebrows as it grows broader and softer. Letting the eyes begin to be heavy, the eyelids to be still. Relaxing the joint of the jaw, creating a little space between the teeth, letting go of the tongue. Surrendering to gravity, allowing your shoulder blades to settle out of your ears, resting towards the back, grounding to the earth, all the way down to your low back. Not a time to be doing, just a time to be. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. For these next few moments, this time and space is yours. Thoughts drifting down like leaves on a tree. As soon as they reach the ground, you let go of their awareness. Not following their story or passing any judgment. They're just a reminder to come back to the breath, moving in and moving out. That next breath becoming a bit deeper. As you fill the belly, fill the lungs, fill the belly space lifting. At the end of your exhale, see if you can exhale just a little bit more. Just always a little bit more to let go without straining or striving, just extending that exhale a little bit longer before you inhale fully again. Maybe bringing awareness to your hands and or feet. Maybe strumming the tips of the fingers or the tips of the thumbs along the fingers, noticing each finger as you pass by. Perhaps curling in the fingers and the toes on an in-breath and releasing on an out-breath. Maybe rolling wrists and or ankles. Just suggestions to move. You don't have to do any of these. Maybe a cat stretch before you bring your knees towards your chest. Massage out what you need to of your low back or your hips. Eventually drifting onto one side. Pausing there to recall your intention for your day. How is it that you plan to show up the rest of this day? And using your top arm and your exhale, beginning to walk your body back up to sitting. So find your comfortable roost on your blankets, bolsters, or blocks. The 3 Bs. Whether it be kneeling, cross-legged, in a chair, your choice. We're going to finish with our practice of Parigraha. So bringing the pinky side of the hands together, the palm side of the hands, or the pinky side of the palms together, and a letting go practice, a detachment practice. So you're going to imagine that you have something within your hands, an image, an emotion, something that you've tied to something or someone, just something you don't want to take with you today, next year. Something you've just been ruminating on and you're just ready to let go. You're going to imagine that within there. The breath practice that goes along with this is 3 exhales. Of course, we're going to inhale in between there, but exhaling, feeling the air flowing along the palm, through the fingers, off the tips of the fingers and away. So in essence, just letting that, blowing whatever you don't want to take with you off the edge. All right, so bringing some awareness of that which you don't want to take with you today. Maybe closing the eyes, imagining it setting there. Whenever you're ready, 3 breaths. We begin on an inhale. Exhale, blowing it away. 2 more. After your next exhale, closing those palms down, maybe one hand over the other at your heart space, your chest. Now we've let go of something we don't want to take with us. Now I invite you to bring some awareness of something that you do want to take with you. Something that you'd like to hold near and dear to your heart into this next year. All right, you may keep your hands here if you'd like, or you can bring your hands to prayer hands, namaste hands, Anjali Mudra, many different names for this, or keeping one hand over the other, whichever is most authentic to you. And bowing to a place within you where you recognize gratitude, to silently honor one more thing in your life to be grateful for today. And with that list may be mighty long, and I hope that it is, but we must come to an end, sending this gratitude out in open arms, offering it beyond the walls, beyond you. Palms coming together, exhaling, holding onto that gratitude real close, at least for the rest of the day. I will Om out if you'd like to Om with me, or just listen to the vibration. You may. I'll take a quick exhale for a fuller inhale, a full exhale, and a full inhale to Om. Breathing in and breathing out. Namaste. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you next time.